Copyright disclaimer. Citation of articles and authors in this report does not imply ownership. Works and images presented here fall under Fair Use Section 107 and are used for commentary on globally significant newsworthy events. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Community Guidelines Disclaimer. The points of view and purpose of this video is not to bully or harass anyone, but rather share that opinion and thoughts with other like-minded individuals curious about the subject.
Hello, UCU family members and comic heads out there! This is your friendly host, Ninja Kage of United Comics Universe, bringing you all this comic excitement. Welcome to
United Comics Universe,
a universe for fans.
From pages to pictures, we are comics.
We are movies, we are television, we are the pages in your books, and we are comics. Now let's get into your comic excitement. James Buchanan Barnes. He was born in Shelby, Indiana, and his known relatives are George M. Barnes, his father, who is deceased, Winifred C. Barnes, his mother, who's also deceased, Ida, an aunt, who is presumed deceased, his sister, Rebecca P. Barnes Proctor, his brother-in-law, who's just known as Proctor, they never actually say his first name. He has a grandnephew named Scott Proctor and a grandniece named Kimberly Proctor. Okay, so Bucky first appeared in Captain America Comics #1 in 1941. His physical stats are he is 5'7" as Bucky, and as the Winter Soldier, he's 5'9". As Bucky, he's 150 pounds, and the Winter Soldier, he whops in at 260 pounds. I'm guessing it's a little extra muscle in that big ol' metal arm of his, adding the extra weight. And in both renditions of himself, he has brown hair and brown eyes. Now, his abilities / accessories are pretty much that he's an Olympic-class athlete and an exceptional acrobat, trained in the unique style of combat of Captain America, which means the Winter Soldier is also an Olympic-class athlete and exceptional acrobat, but as the Winter Soldier, he is now highly skilled in both armed and unarmed combat. He is fluent in 4 languages, including German and Russian, and a proficient marksman. His robotic left arm grants him a degree of superhuman strength. Now, Bucky has been very busy in the comics ever since his first appearance, and we would like to thank Marvel.com and MarvelDirectory.com, information we've compiled for you. We're going to start at the beginning and tell you everything we have found out up into the current comics. So, to start off, his mother had died when he was a young child, and his father had died in an accident while in basic training at Army Base Camp Lehigh in Virginia. He was separated from his sister following their parents' death and became a teenage ward of the state assigned to Camp Lehigh, where he served as camp mascot and set up a profitable little endeavor providing soldiers with various non-requisition supplies. He befriended a seemingly naive young private named Steve Rogers, who had recently become the government operative Captain America. One night, Barnes discovered Rogers changing into his costumed identity. He was then sworn to secrecy and was able to assist Captain America on his mission against the Red Skull, and was given government approval to undergo intensive training so he could serve as Cap's partner, in part to counter Germany's Hitler Youth movement. He also took fighting lessons from the people who trained the Sentinel of Liberty. Now, not long after this, Bucky joined forces with the mutant hero Toro and 4 young adventurers as the Young Allies. Bucky kind of divided his time in between missions with Cap and the less formal adventures with his fellow teens. When America entered World War II after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in December 1941, Cap and Bucky abandoned their military identities for most of the war to devote their full energies to serving as costumed freedom fighters. Captain America and Bucky allied with Toro, his partner the android Human Torch, and Namor the Submariner, to form the team of superhuman freedom fighters called the Invaders in early 1942. Bucky was also instrumental in organizing the super teams known as the Liberty Legion and the Kid Commandos. In addition to their work with the Invaders and the Howling Commandos, Cap and Bucky continued to share missions and also embark on solo adventures. Cap tended to stand in the spotlight, while Bucky used his smaller stature to take care of some of the dirtier jobs behind the scenes. As the war was nearing its end in 1945, Captain America and Bucky were in London trailing a Nazi scientist named Baron Zemo. This is not the same Zemo that appeared in MCU Civil War, this is actually his dad. So there are two Baron Zemos that we're going to talk about throughout the course of this article. They discovered him stealing an experimental drone plane and confronted him, but they were incapacitated by Zemo's android. Zemo captured Cap and Bucky and proceeded to torture Bucky in front of Cap. He then strapped the pair to the drone plane and attempted to fly them to Germany, but they escaped just before Zemo activated the plane, which flew off without them. Cap and Bucky followed the plane on a motorcycle and were able to jump on board just as it was flying out of range. Bucky grabbed the plane's wing and discovered a bomb had been placed on it as a booby trap. He ignored Cap's warnings and attempted to defuse the bomb. The plane exploded, apparently killing him and destroying his left arm. Cap and Bucky's body were thrown into icy waters, and Captain America went into suspended animation. Later on, Namor accidentally rattled the capsicle free, and Cap's body was revived decades later after it was found again. After he was revived, Rogers vowed to avenge Bucky's death and ensure that his sacrifice received the recognition it deserved. In between the time Captain America and Bucky disappeared and the time Capsicle was defrosted, the costume adventurer called the Spirit of 76 assumed the role of Captain America. A boy named Fred Davis, who had once aided the original Bucky, became the second Bucky and the partner of this new Captain America. Both the second Bucky and the second Captain America served as members of the post-war All-Winners Squad. Davis's subsequent history is as yet unrecovered. Jack Monroe became the third Bucky, who was the partner of the fourth Captain America, William Burnside, in the 1950s. When Bucky fell from the drone plane after it exploded, he was preserved by the freezing waters, and not too long afterwards his body was retrieved by Vasily Karpov's submarine and taken to Soviet authorities in May 1945. Barnes was thawed out and pronounced legally deceased, but the doctors revived him with cardiopulmonary resuscitation and adrenaline injections to his heart. Barnes suffered severe, considerable brain damage and had no knowledge of his previous life besides his fighting reflexes. When the Soviets determined he had no super soldier formula in his system, Barnes was placed in stasis. In June 1954, a KGB spy with Britain's MI6 obtained schematics for a robotic appendage that was reproduced and used to replace Barnes's missing left arm. Planning to turn Bucky back on the Americans, the Soviet government cleared Department X to begin Project Winter Soldier. Barnes was reprogrammed with mental implantation during sensory deprivation and sent out to conduct several strategic assassinations for the KGB throughout the mid-20th century, including assassinating James Howlett, who's later known as Wolverine, his wife Itsu, who was actually carrying Howlett's child at the time. Winter Soldier was placed in stasis in between missions to slow his aging, but also because Bucky was starting to show cracks in his programming. The Russians used Winter Soldier to train and test their super soldiers created in the Red Room for Department X, which is where Bucky met Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. Upon Karpov's death, Barnes remained in stasis due to mental instability and was placed in a storage facility inherited by Karpov's protege, General Alexander Lukin, who went rogue after the Soviet Union's fall and formed the Kronos Oil Corporation. Coveting the Red Skull's cobbled-together cosmic cube, Lukin reactivated Barnes and had him assassinate the skull, although Barnes did not realize that the skull had simultaneously used the cube to transfer his consciousness into Lukin's body. Barnes next assassinated Jack Monroe, who was the former 1950s Bucky and also known as Nomad, and framed him for the skull's assassination. Barnes then detonated a firebomb in Philadelphia that helped Lukin power the cosmic cube. When Lukin discovered the cube's negative side effects, he sent Bucky to take it to a nuclear-safe vault in West Virginia, causing Barnes to question his orders for the first time since he became Winter Soldier. During this mission, Captain America, Nick Fury, and Sharon Carter learned the Winter Soldier's true identity. The heroes stopped the mission, and Captain America used the cosmic cube to restore Bucky's memories, causing Barnes to turn against Lukin and go underground. Barnes next resurfaced in Belgrade, Serbia, where he was confronted by Wolverine, who had recently regained the memories of his wife's assassination. Sure, that was a heck of a fight. Bucky then reappeared in London, England, where Lucan unleashed Red Skull's sleeper robot. Barnes teamed up with Captain America to defeat the robot, which ended up vaporizing his cybernetic arm in the process. Bucky disappeared, headed towards France to make arrangements with Nick Fury to obtain a new arm. Almost immediately, Bucky began working for Nick Fury, who guided him to specific threats as the superheroes raced towards civil war. During the event, Bucky kept to the shadows, still going on ops for Fury, but also realizing that this kind of mess diverted attention from where it truly should be. Then, just as Cap and his anti-registration side seemed to gain the upper hand, Rogers surrendered. Bucky was nearby not long after Rogers was marched to the courthouse for his trial, but Captain America never made it inside as the Red Skull's secret plan took effect. Crossbones sniped at him from the sky, and a Dr. Faustus-controlled Sharon Carter shot him at point-blank range. Bucky and Falcon were able to take out Crossbones, but with his bro Cap gone and Bucky being still considered a public menace, he found himself mourning his brother alone. He continued his mission to stop Lucan, eventually discovering that the Red Skull had somehow taken up residence in the villain's mind. Making matters worse, Lucan revealed that part of the Winter Soldier programming included safe words that could knock him out. Faustus contrived working his brain-bending mad science on Bucky again, but it didn't work, and Agent 13 ended up throwing him out of a plane. Not trusting how Tony Stark, who was now the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., would honor Steve's memory, Barnes broke into the helicarrier to steal Cap's shield. He thought about slinging it himself, but didn't take to the idea right away until he read a letter from Steve that requested he fill the position. Bucky made two things clear before taking up the mantle, though. He wanted S.H.I.E.L.D. to get the Winter Soldier programming out of his head, and he also wanted to be his own hero, answering to no one. Bucky then donned a new costume to become Captain America. It took some time for him to fully understand what Steve did in that uniform, beyond, beating up bad guys, and what it meant to people who saw him. During his time as Cap, he started working with the New Avengers and also joined forces with Namor to reclaim Jim Hammond's body and give their fellow invader a proper hero's burial. He also worked with Falcon, Black Widow, and Sharon Carter to finally put an end to the Red Skull's machinations. As Red Skull's evil plans came to a head, Carter learned that they didn't actually kill Steve. They had actually unstuck him from time when they attempted to assassinate him. The Skull managed to bring Rogers' body back so he can take control of it. Barnes fought Skull Cap long enough for Steve to actually regain control of his own body again. They then teamed up together to stop Red Skull, who was now inhabiting a huge, rampaging robot body, with the help of the Avengers. Back in the present, Steve felt concerned about taking back over the role of Captain America because he thought it might lead to Bucky's death. But he still donned the chainmail when he needed to put a stop to Norman Osborn's siege on Asgard, leading the heroes, including Bucky, against the Dark Avengers and Thunderbolts. Upon stopping Norman and everything he was doing, Rogers returned the shield to Bucky and then went on to become the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D., making Barnes the solo Captain America for a time. In addition to serving with the Avengers, Barnes continued cleaning up the messes left by Red Skull, which included taking out the 1950s Captain America, William Burnside, who had been driven mad and started leading the white power group known as the Watchdogs. Very anti-Captain America. After killing the imposter, Bucky started acting like he had something of a death wish, which was of course a concern to Falcon and Steve Rogers. Baron Helmut Zemo, who is the son of the original Zemo, took advantage of this and put a plan into motion utilizing his old crony Fixers, as well as his father's ally Iron Hand Hotputman, and a new Beetle to get Bucky exactly where he wanted him. Zemo was demanding that Bucky earn his status as a hero instead of riding Cap's coattails, so he released proof of his past as the Winter Soldier to the media, which is completely ridiculous because Bucky has, long ago earned his own status as a hero. Zemo was just messing with him. So after getting away from Zemo, Bucky turned himself in to face his charges with Steve's old friend Bernie Rosenthal representing him. During the trial, Sin captured Falcon and Black Widow. She demanded that Bucky appear at the Statue of Liberty or else she'd blow it up along with his friends. Even though he was advised not to, Bucky rushed in to save his friends and then turned himself back in. Now, the judge was a cool guy, and he allowed Bucky to switch his plea to guilty, but commuted the 20-year sentence to time served to help keep Bucky out of jail. However, the Russians were not that cool, and they had other plans. They extradited Bucky to a Siberian jail, having tried him in absentia, and found him guilty of crimes against the state. While Barnes struggled to survive a whole mess of people with grudges from his days as the Winter Soldier, Rogers attempted diplomatic means of release, while Black Widow and Sharon Carter went more of the spy route. They learned that the supposed innocents Winter Soldier killed actually had ties back to the Red Room and Department X, so they really weren't that innocent. Upon discovering that sleeper agent information had been hidden in his mind, Bucky decided to break out of jail at the same time Black Widow had arrived to spring him, so he was breaking out while she was breaking in. As they got away, Barnes realized that he needed to dedicate himself to taking down the operatives that he helped create back in his days when he was under Russian control. Fully focusing on this new mission, Bucky and the rest of the super community got wrapped up in protecting the Earth from fear being spread by the Serpent, a more devious plan that had been kicked off by his old foe Sin. During the battle, Nick Fury and Black Widow made it look like the severely injured Bucky had actually died, again, both to push Rogers back into the role of Captain America and also to allow Bucky to restart his life. While they were treating Bucky's injuries, Fury injected him with his last vial of Infinity Formula. Once Bucky was up on his feet again, he immediately told Steve what they had done, but he also noted that his work needed to be done in the shadows. Bucky kind of going the ninja route with this one. So now, he and Natasha were starting their new mission. But while they were trying to track down the 3 US stationed sleeper agents, they ran into Lucia von Bardas, the Crimson Ghost, and Doctor Doom. The last sleeper, Leo, managed to brainwash Black Widow into working for him, but the Winter Soldier teamed up with Hawkeye, Captain America, and Wolverine to finally take him down and get her help from S.H.I.E.L.D., when ultimately her memories of him were erased. Now, Bucky continued to fight the good fight as the Winter Soldier, but then soon had to answer Fury's call to investigate the murder of the Watcher. And though he first began helping out along Gamora and Moon Knight, Bucky just attacked Fury and declared there would be no more secrets. That old warhorse then explained that he had spent decades as the man on the wall, doing whatever it took to keep Earth safe. Fury then became the new Watcher and passed his secret defender responsibilities on to Bucky. Now, with his new job description, the Winter Soldier recruited Daisy Johnson to help him out. The pair got into some pretty deep trouble on a mission, during which Bucky fell in love, they encountered an alternate universe, and Loki pulled more strings than a puppeteer. During that same time, Rogers returned to his role as Captain America, lost his super soldier serum granted youth, passed the mantle of Captain America on to Sam Wilson, and then rejoined S.H.I.E.L.D. So there was a lot going on at one time right there. Now, Rogers didn't know that Maria Hill had started a program called Pleasant Hill that used a sentient cosmic cube called Kobik to rewrite the minds of supervillains and give them new lives. So he was pretty confused when the Winter Soldier started attacking S.H.I.E.L.D. outposts. Rogers was even more surprised when Bucky met up with him and said that Hill hadn't destroyed the cube fragments like she had originally claimed. There's some more story back in this one. So Hill gave Rogers a tour and everything seemed shipshape at first, but then Baron Zemo popped up again and broke out alongside Fixer, Moonstone, and others before causing a full-scale jailbreak. Winter Soldier worked with Sam Wilson to find Kobik after she restored Steve to his proper age, and then implanted him with Hydra memories created by the Red Skull. After the fighting, Bucky, who didn't know what had just happened to Captain America, agreed to help Kobik, who also wanted to bring her 4 friends along, Fixer, Moonstone, Atlas, and Mach X. Together they formed the New Thunderbolts and continued Barnes' work of watching out for high-level threats. Now, Bucky didn't learn that Kobik had rewritten Steve Rogers' mind until it was too late, and Rogers took control of the country with his secret Hydra empire. That is weird. As the faux Rogers operation began, Baron Zemo, again, attempted to kill Bucky the same way his father did, but this time the Winter Soldier escaped and splashed into the water. Namor's people found him, and he took on the disguise of a royal advisor, which gave the two old comrades time to make some plans. Now, while Bucky was underwater, Hydra Cap murdered Black Widow in front of the world. Just as Hydra Cap leveled up in power, Barnes worked out a plan with Sam Wilson and Scott Lang to launch the last remaining piece of Kobik into Rogers. Jumping into the newly reformed cube, Bucky saved Kobik as well as his old friend and escaped with them both. When Kobik recreated everything, it seemed like Black Widow and the murdered Rick Jones had been brought back again in some form or another. Okay everybody, we at the UCU have another theory. Now this one is actually more like something we just really want to happen because we want to see this on screen in the MCU. Now, White Wolf is an old protector of Wakanda from the comics, and Black Panther, aka T'Challa, referred to Bucky as White Wolf. Now in the comics, Bucky is not White Wolf. However, in the MCU, he could be. And our theory is that that new arm he got from Wakanda actually has tech for White Wolf in it. So if he decides to take up that mantle and become Wakanda's protector, he's gonna have like a suit or some gear or something come popping out of that arm the way the Black Panther suit pops out of T'Challa's necklace. Let us know what you think. Would you like to see this in the MCU? We know we do. So, are you guys hype about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I know I am. Use your comic words and put them down below to let us know. Once we hit that 500 subscriber mark, we'll be giving away a Nick Fury Pop. But you better not call him Nick. And once we reach that 5,000 subscriber mark, we will be giving away a PlayStation 4 or 5. It'll be your choice when the time comes. In order to be a winner of these awesome prizes here at the channel, all you have to do is comic smash that subscribe button, then comic punch that notification bell so you can get notified when we go live and upload a video. Please be sure to give us a like up, but the most important thing is to share, share, share. This is the only way we can get around the YouTube censorship, so please share the video! Also, hit us up on Rumble, Instagram, Twitter, Parler, Facebook, and Twitch. Please support us on Patreon or PayPal. All the links are down below, and your support is very much appreciated, and it helps us continue to put up these awesome videos for you. We Are Comics. Please check out some of our other videos like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, The Origin of Flag Smasher, and more. Catch you superheroes and villains another time.